We've got some.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, today, how to go from negative $400 to six figures in 4 months.
I want to know this.
Wow.
I want to know this.
Yes, I am very excited for today's topic and even more excited for today's guest. But before we start, do we have a sponsor, Luis?
Absolutely. And I'm going to actually keep the bus on this one because you threw me under the bus. But guess what, guys? If you have long form content like the one that you're listening to or watching right now live on Facebook, we have this service for you called Content Momentum. And if you want to, chop it up and grab all the goodness and transform it into minions that go into the interwebs and grab those clients for you, the frictionless sale. Go ahead and send us a DM. Oh, wow. That was Gucci.
You did pretty good.
All right.
Congrats.
Thank you,
That is
Fonzie.
right.
And yeah, go ahead. You go do
Guys,
my part.
please don't forget to smash the subscribe button so you know when the episode are dropping right on your phone. And don't forget to follow us at BizBrosCo on Facebook, on Instagram, and soon maybe on Clubhouse too. We'll have a BizBros profile.
I know, you can just follow our profiles and our guest profile. Here you go. It's right there. You can see it, but we're not going to spill the name right now. And let's see. Another week, another episode of Content is Profit. We met today's guest in our new networking rounds through social media. They're not new. We've been doing it for quite a while. His passion for teaching others... Hold on. His passion for teaching others what he had learned throughout the years is extremely contagious. And he's here today to deliver some of that fire.
Oh, yeah. His story can be easily mistaken for that of an overnight success. After all, he went from negative bank account to a six-figure business in 4 months. But he has actually been working hard for years, honing his craft, sharpening his skills, and being extremely consistent.
That's right. And all that hard work paid off. In 18 months, he ended up paying off his $118,000 of student loans in 66 days after launching his Facebook group. He earned the ClickFunnels Dream Car Award, and he managed to move to San Diego after living his entire life in the same small town.
There's just one word for that, and that is legendary, guys. Please welcome Master Affiliate Marketer, Facebook Group Wizard, and founding father of the Backwards Hat Crew, Mr. Doug Boughton!
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me, guys. Super excited to be here.
Dude, I'm so pumped up, Doug, and I'm also pumped up that we just created the Backwards Hat Crew. So
ooh, baby,
for those listening, go ahead, get your hat, put it on backwards, because it's going to be a wild ride.
That is the secret of going from negative $400 to six figures. That's it. That's all. That's
it. Yeah.
All right, we can end the episode. Q&As now. No, I'm kidding. Doug, we are so excited and thankful that you're here with us. We've actually connected a while back, and I am so thrilled that we finally got to do this with us. I'm just saying it had a lot of convincing. I had to do it.
Yeah, I know it's been a little project in the making for a while now, and we finally were able to connect. And yeah, man, really, you guys are fun. Probably the most fun introduction I've had, and I feel the energy through the screen here, so I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We're just trying to have some of that energy that you have when you're teaching people, bringing that excitement into themselves. And we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, we want to know, especially me, I'm going to be honest, it's the first time I actually talked to you, Doug, right? I think you talked to my brother before.
Maybe once or twice.
I want to know, who are you exactly? Like, what did you do and how did you do it to go from a negative $400 bank account to where you are right now?
By the way, I won't tell him. I promise. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm an open book. I love sharing the things I've been able to accomplish, the good and the bad. Like, my goal is to help shortcut people's success online. And it's everything I wish I had when I first started. I have been doing this for a long time, 8 years part-time, just kind of dabbling, trying to figure out how I could pay off my student loan debt. And 2 years ago, I quit my full-time restaurant job and took this thing full-time. So I've been full-time for about 2 years and a month now. And life is really good. And now I'm just on a mission to help others go out there and level up, do the same thing so they could break free from their 9 to 5.
Oh, so that story resonates big time with us, right? Like, because, we share the story. We started with stickers and then t-shirts and then a bunch of other stuff came after that. But I think the dream or the need was always there to like get out of the 9 to 5. We were finally able to do it at the end of 2019.
Nice.
And we were super proud and excited that we did that, right? But in the first like almost 4 years, really, like almost 4 years was really challenging to get there, right? Like we always strive for that shiny object syndrome and what are we actually going to do? So can you tell us a little bit about your story? Like how the whole process started, right? Like, did you always knew you want to be an internet marketer and teach people and, help people out through the interwebs? Was that bug always there, or, how did it go?
So I always knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew like that was my goal as like a young kid. I mean, I used to be a competitor in all things I've done. I mean, when it came to like the fundraisers, when you're selling like, the candy and the boxes and stuff like that, I would always rank top of my class. And, then when I was in my teenage years, I was able to finally get my first paper route, deliver newspapers. And I went from 1 paper route to 5. And we were just, me and my brothers were always just trying to find ways to make money. And that kind of continued through college. I went to a 5-year program and had to drop out my senior year, unfortunately, because of my student loans. I had to get a co-signer, and I couldn't get my original 2 co-signers, my mom and my nanny. They said, you need a new co-signer. I couldn't make that happen. So I dropped out just shy of my degree. Wow. That $56,000 of student loans more than doubled in those 5 years from accrued interest. So I ended up with over 6 figures of student loan debt without a degree. And at that point, I came back to Connecticut, where I'm from, and I was working 100% commission door-to-door sales job, selling office supplies for a Staples subsidiary company. And I did really well. Out of 800 reps, I was nationally ranked top 10 consistently every week. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to pay the bills. Yeah. So I took on restaurant jobs. I was always working at least 2 or 3 jobs in my 20s. And it was finally to the point where my nanny, my mother's mother, we call her nanny, she approached me and said, Doug, I know you're working as much as you can. You're good at what you do, but you're affecting my credit. My credit score is taking a hit because you're not paying your bills on time. And she actually presented to me my first online business opportunity.
Oh, wow.
So my grandmother actually was the first one to get me involved in this. And back then it was, something I was very unfamiliar with, which was network marketing. I'm no longer involved in network marketing, but it was my introduction. It was my first thing I ever did. And she brought me to a meeting. I loved the concept of making my own potential income. And from there, I got started, and we went, like you guys, I had shiny object syndrome. I went through like 27 different business opportunities in a short period of time. But it all led me to where I am today. And I'm really excited that I got that start and just kind of failed forward, taking the knowledge I could take with me to let the next thing show up and present itself.
Absolutely. Wow. What a powerful, interesting story.
Yeah.
I understand the co-signing aspect of things because my brother co-signed my car a few years ago with me because I definitely needed the help. And we fell somewhat in the same trap of, me damaging his credit, like in your story you were doing to your grandma's, right?
Also, he has the same first name, same last name. So that on its own is a whole because people think legally we're the same person, right? And we're calling, we're like, hey, by the way, he is Alfonso.
Yeah, we're different people.
So yeah, that took some convincing to do. But anyways,
I understand the struggle there, but man, I can't even imagine being, $118,000 in debt for a reason that I'm going to say you didn't even achieve at the end of the day, right? You didn't even get the diploma. And it wasn't because of choice, right? It was because of the circumstances that happened. But that I can't even, what was going through your mind in that moment, right? Because I'm guessing that the level of stress that you must have had at the moment, how do you get out mentally of a situation like that?
Yeah, I remember feeling just like almost like betrayed and just like angry like at the system. And I know I'm not alone in that. There's so many people out there that are going to college, taking out all this debt. They're not really noticing what they're signing. They just they were like me. They're 18. They're naive. They're just excited to get out of state and go and experience something new. And that was me. I was the first in my family to go to college, so we didn't really know what kind of loans it was, and I never really did this fine print reading, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And, it took me a while. It took me until I got these loans paid off. Just recently, I paid off that last big payment. And, I'm completely debt-free now, completely debt-free. And I've accepted it. And I'm actually grateful for it at this point, because I don't know if I'd be where I am today without that obstacle, because, it really got me working. It put me to work. It motivated me to work harder. And now I know that I could go help others with the same thing. If people have student loan debt, there are ways to get ahead quicker than just working for somebody else.
Absolutely. It's like Ryan Holiday says, right? The obstacle is the way. And
Exactly.
for marketers, I feel like the obstacle just becomes a new tool in your arsenal to inspire and impact more people, right? And 100%. I think it takes a lot in the mindset to see it that way. Of course, like we don't encounter a challenge and immediately we're like, that is going to be a tool and a great story that I can tell in the future, right? I feel now maybe we can frame it that way because we have lived it in the past. But, you mentioned before the show that you are working with people that are getting into the online space. And I'm sure that is a big hurdle that they need to go through, right? That mental clarity, kind of like accepting those challenges that they have and turning, the famous phrase, turning their mess into their message. And I'm sure you help them do that. What is that main issue that you see with these people coming into the online space? What is that number one thing that is stopping them from making some improvements of moving forward?
Yeah, I think we all struggle with the same things in life. Like, we're human beings and we have that, we are our biggest own enemy. And when it starts like coming to an online business, like it's new territory. And, you start going through things that are self-sabotaging, like imposter syndrome, shiny object syndrome, overwhelm and confusion of where to even get started. And I think so many people are just taught the wrong way or not taught at all. And for me, like, my big start was just kind of taking the knowledge I have that I've acquired and then just letting that new skill set develop and seeing what shows up next. So for me, it was selling other people's products and services online. Yeah. I think, that gave me so many different types of technical skills and social skills to the point where I could then go and create my own offer eventually.
Yeah.
So I think that's really I really try to help people start something online, find out, what their highest values are, go align with a company that's already successful, selling a product online that they could also, share through their stories and their experiences that align with what they're doing, and they'll be successful in that. And that's what finally happened to me with ClickFunnels. I finally found a product that I could stand behind. It was a real product to me. Yeah. Like, and by real, I mean, it's an actual acronym. Like, it's relatable to my story and my experiences. You could the earning potential is really good. I align to their mission and their values. And lastly, it's long-term. It's going to be around for a while, because I spent my first 8 years online promoting things that weren't real, spending all that time building up an income, and it would go on overnight because that company wasn't on the same, values as me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important because, oh man, going back through our journey, right? Like, we found not even on the online space, even like in real world, right? Like, we started with a sticker company, and then 2 weeks later we invested in a screen printing machines, and then we did stickers and screen printing. And then it was like, okay, how do we market this thing? And we're like, oh my God, there's such a big opportunity marketing this kind of stuff, and then continue to evolve. So it was like, we're grateful now that we look back and we're like, wow, these are the pieces that were in place to help us do what we do now. But at the same time, it was so frustrating, right? And we didn't know what we didn't know. So, for somebody that's starting in this space, for somebody that might be facing that challenge today, or like, okay, how do I actually make the most out of this? Like, should I stay? Should I pivot? Like, what is maybe like one piece of advice for that person that's starting and is presented with so many options, right? Because when we see it online or when we see it out there, everything is advertised as the best next opportunity, right? Everything is the best next opportunity, right? But it's like, how do you find your best next opportunity?
Yeah. So for me, it was just starting with one thing, and I did all the wrong things. I think it's learning through failure. And then I learned quickly like what to actually do. And then the next thing was show its face. So for me, it started out in network marketing. I did well, and I'd lose, all the work I've done. But I did have one thing stay, and that was the skill sets I had, like gaining skills around how to build landing pages and email marketing and start building a list. And then from there, I started doing that as a done for you service for local restaurants, which was my background, working in restaurants. Yeah. And that's about the time I found ClickFunnels. I was able to build websites and funnels so much easier and more quickly for my clients when I found ClickFunnels. So that's what allowed me to quit my job in the restaurant industry. I took that one employer I had. They were my first account, signed them up to ClickFunnels. I built out their website and their menus, and then we ran campaigns for upcoming birthdays and anniversaries. And we were really successful with that. We started building out a really good email list, booking events, selling out, bringing customers in the restaurant. So I took them as a case study, got 6 clients, also local restaurants in my hometown, and then quit my restaurant job. And that's kind of where it all started.
That's awesome. What if you don't mind me asking, what were you charging at that point?
Yeah. So, for my first few clients, like it was like so cheap. Like, I was just happy to have a ClickFunnels account, like making that recurring 40% commission on their ClickFunnels account. Yeah. And I'm like, how can I get to 100 clients? And I realized like, I can't even keep up with 6. Like there's no way I'm going to get that 100 mark. And that's when I like asked myself, like, what do I actually like about this business model? And the only answer I could say was that ClickFunnels recurring commission. I love that. Like, how do I get to 100 people without doing the work for them? And that's where Sales Funnel Mastery was born, where I created an online course teaching this, filling that gap that people were struggling with the software. Yeah. And that's when things really took off. I started my Facebook group. At the time, I was 2 months out of my full-time job and went negative in the bank because I lost those clients. I wasn't happy in that. So I had an option, either go back to the restaurant and continue to serve tables, or level up, go all in on the Facebook group, sell ClickFunnels. And within 66 days after opening my group, I hit the dream car status, which was 100 referred accounts.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. So I see this path in your journey, right? Where you were at the restaurant and then started the kind of like affiliate / service agency. Yeah. And then transition, I think, fully affiliate. And then you transition now into what you're doing right now. And I asked the pricing for the reason because we used to do service for restaurants as well. We started with restaurants when we started in the online marketing.
Yeah, specifically Mexican restaurants.
Yep. And
me too.
Delicious tacos.
Yeah, I mean, the tacos are super attractive, right? But you can now make a living out of tacos. Like,
if we could get paid on tacos, my wife would be happy, not me.
Yeah, the wife of my brother would be happy, but it would be an issue, right? And we at the moment we're actually charging them $500 a month. Yeah. And as soon as we started doing the work, like 2 weeks later, we're not charging anything. We came to that immediate realization. Yeah. But we were still so afraid of asking for more, charging for more. I don't know. We knew our value at the moment. How does people go about finding their value when they are trying to kick off their own business? When they are not doing this affiliate marketing thing and they don't have that recurrent from other products and services that they have aligned their values with. But when they're trying to start their own service or even their own course, how do they price that? How do they value themselves?
Yeah, so I think everyone goes through that. I mean, my first few clients, I did it for free just for the affiliate commission on ClickFunnels. And then I was like, you guys, I charged $500, but it wasn't reoccurring. It was like one time. And I'm like, so I'm here working for free months later. But, as I got more confidence, as I got more skills, I started to charge up to $4,800, I think was the most expensive I charged for a build out for a sales funnel. And that wasn't even me continuing the service as a retainer. It was just that one time. And I said this up, I gave them training so they knew how to use ClickFunnels, and they would put their office manager in charge of it, which worked for them. But I think especially as an agency owner and a service provider, what you have to realize is for these small business owners to employ someone that's going to run their marketing and content, they're going to pay them at least $50,000 a year, and plus benefits and insurance that they have to pay, and all the taxes and everything behind it. And you have to realize like how much work that is for them. And for you to be coming in as an independent contractor, think how much money you're saving them. Even just at $1,000 reoccurring a month, you're still less than 30% more affordable than having them hire someone to do that for them. Plus, it's like your specialty, and it's a skill set that you could really help provide a result for.
Oh, you just hit the nail with that one, man. Because we've been having some conversations, right? With how much should you charge? And we're having this conversation with a company that we're about to start helping. They have a network of 400 podcasts. They have TV stations, and they want to sell a product where we're going to be a part of it to CEOs of companies, right? And they're trying to figure out, how do we sell this product, right? And some of the limiting beliefs there are the pricing, right? The price point. And sometimes we, we heard this from Brooke Evans. We sell how we buy, right? So at this point, do we have to ask ourselves, okay, what are we investing in? Like, what is the point there that we can make that connection? But at the same time, what you said, it's like, how much are we valuing their time? So how much is the CEO valuing his time to try to figure these out, to either go out, find somebody, build the system? Like, this not only takes money, but it does take time, right? And we always refer to Greg Cohen, one of our great, amazing partners and clients here with us. He's the CMO of an 80-person company who is trying to figure out the content game for 80 hours a month. Ton of hours, right? So we're like, when we told him, hey, Greg, we can help you with this awesome system. It just takes you 4 hours. We do the rest, right? And he's like, how much is that? We tell him X, right? And he's like, done. Because he valued his time so much more, and then he could allocate those resources to help his company to grow the rest of it, right? So I think you nailed it right there, in the heart, in the nail, everything. We could just like golden ball their time right here.
For those listening, I think it is important to understand that you're not selling the futures of, you're not selling that thing, right? You're selling the results. What is the other person on the other side gaining? Put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what would I like to gain back if I invest in this product, right? Is it time with my family, or is it, I am saving and I don't have to deal with X business now because I'm dealing with one person. And I think that is very, very important. And I'm curious, because a lot of people might fall for the race of cheap, right? They're like, no, I'm going to lower my prices because my competitors are pricing their thing at X. So if I undercut them, I'm going to win, right? But that race is the worst one that you could be racing, right? We know that the best way to probably increase the quality of your customers is by charging more, right? You're going to be happier by charging more, because you're going to be making more money, and you're probably going to be getting better clients at the same time. So how do you differentiate yourself when it comes specifically for products like Sales Funnel Mastery, right? That now you're talking about info products. How do you add that differentiation aspect in that business, right? Especially in, I'm going to say, in the info product market that is, there's a lot of people competing there.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, like, to your thought process on that real quick, it's cheap becomes expensive. When people try to be cheap on things, man, you're going to pay for it in the end, because you're going to end up going backwards, and you have to rehire someone or buy another program, or something like that. But for me, like, I did struggle with increasing my prices for a while. I mean, I was teaching a coaching program, a year-long coaching program, for less than $1,000. So what most people sell an online course for, I was giving all that plus weekly coaching in addition to that, in a one-on-one setting as well in some cases. So I did struggle with that. But as I realized, when I increase my prices, it's not for me, it's for the customers. Because when they invest, I realized, for me personally, when I invested $5,000 in my first mentor, I did not have that money to invest. I had $450 in my bank account. But what happened was, I put down that $450 deposit, and 2 weeks later, I made $34,000 on my beta launch of my course, because I had no choice. I owed my mentor, over $4,000, and I need to make something happen. So, like, when your back's against the wall, if I paid him $1,000, I probably would have stopped showing up. But when you invest at the higher level of your future self, like, you're going to level yourself up, you're going to show up, you're going to do the work. So when I increase my prices, I'm not doing it for me. Yes, it's nice, but I reinvest everything back into the business anyway. I'm doing it for the customers. I'm doing it for the clients, so they could, feel like they got some skin in the game and show up and do the work.
Wow, I love that. Increase your prices, not for yourself, but for your customers. At the end of the day, it's about that. Like we're doing what we're doing because we want to serve the people on the other side, and we want to help them level up in whatever we're doing, right? So
Mhm.
for you in sales funnel mastery, right? I'm guessing you're helping them build better converting sales funnels that they can make a living off while selling their services through there, right? For us in
Mhm.
Biz Bros, we want to help them save their time, gain their time back by only having to do the long form content once. And then we
Yeah.
can repurpose all that content
Yeah.
into golden boulders, how we call them.
Yeah, Doug, you said something there really important, right? Like you, when you made that first investment, I'm sure that
Mm.
was really, really scary.
That
Like,
is so relatable.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a story. Like, you see my t-shirt right now. Obviously, we work very closely with Steve Larson. We were part of his offer lab,
Mhm.
mastermind, right? And that was really the first investment that we've ever did at that level.
Mm.
This investment at the time was $25,000 that we did not have. I was
Yeah.
literally that event. I quit my job Friday. We were at Boise Saturday, right? I took on a personal loan that was enough to give me 8 months worth of runway. I did not tell my wife that we were going to invest this thing because it happened at the event, right? And then they make the offer. We're like, holy crap, this is the thing that we need to move forward, right?
We started sweating cold, literally.
Yeah, like sweaty armpits, like Fonzie said every single time, right? And we remember, like, we went out to lunch, we discussed it, we're like, we're not doing it, right? Like it's stupid, like we don't have this money. And then we came back, and Myron Golden went on stage, and for those here live and on Facebook, if or in Clubhouse, if you heard Myron, he's a world of knowledge and amazingness, and he was the guy that sold us, right? And the line I remember is like what you said after, right? It was like you made that investment, but right after you level up and you made
Yeah.
it happen. And it was like, we have to trust ourselves that we can actually make it happen. Nobody else is going to make it happen for us. So we like launched forward. It was like 3 minutes remaining. We grabbed the paperwork. We're like, we don't have this money. We told like Colton, the people in the back, we're like, we don't have this money. We're going to invest. And we're gonna make it happen. They're like, don't worry, man, we're gonna actually make it happen. Well, a year later, man, like this thing has been the most amazing thing. And I'm not advertising that specific program. You can actually do
Yeah.
it with whoever you believe that your mentor should be, right? But if you put in the work, everything will sort itself out. And the investment was made many, many times over, and it was incredible because we took action. But that moment was so scary. So, what are some of the challenges, not yours, but you have this amazing network of students that you teach every single day, right? Like, what are some of the mental challenges or hurdles that you see every single day, right? Because we had to go through them for 4 years straight, right? We're still going through them. Every time you level up, there's a new set of challenges that come your way, and you're like, oh, leveling up, here we go. It's like a video game, right? For us, it's everything video games. But what are some of those challenges that you see at the early stage when they're just starting to do this?
Yeah, and I was at that event, by the way, and I was blown away. But I see this all the time, even with myself, and like it kind of reminds me of an analogy that I like to use from grade school. When you like go from like middle school, or even like elementary school to middle school, then middle school to high school, and then high school to college, like you go through this like change where you're going to the next level, and you're like they say new level, new devil, and it's just like this you're breaking from a new comfort zone and you're leveling up. So there's going to be some uncomfortability there. But I believe when you embrace difficulty, life gets easier. So that's just like a sign that you are, you feel like you haven't done this before, but in reality, we've all been there before. And then when you get to that next level, like, wow, that wasn't so bad. So like you just have to remind yourself that it's going to be okay. You're feeling this way because you're doing something new and you're growing. And that's what we should do every day. We should all strive to get uncomfortable daily. And from my perspective, like when I was going through that, I just had to remind myself, because we all have those self-sabotaging beliefs, like, imposter syndrome. Am I good enough to do this? Am I going to get the result? And I think it's like this weird, like, catch-22 where you have to kind of hop in, thinking, at a higher level, even though you're not quite there, but it's just going to happen. The momentum's going to push you forward. And I just encourage people every day to do something different that's going to get them uncomfortable. And it's just a good sign that you're leveling up.
Oh,
Absolutely. Imposter syndrome has definitely gained some traction lately, I feel like, with entrepreneurship and, the mediums being way more open for people to communicate and learn things. And the other day, I was actually listening to this podcast with Seth Godin, with he's like some people consider him like the god of marketing, right? And he was talking. They asked him like, "How do you deal with imposter syndrome, or how do you dealt with the imposter syndrome?" And he's like, "I get it all the time. I still do, right?" And I think that is one of those feelings that never go away, because he was saying, for me, it's an indicator that I'm actually doing something right, that I'm moving in the right direction. Because if I'm not feeling like an imposter, that means I'm not pushing through my comfort zone, and I'm not reaching towards, new possibilities. So I want to, for people that are listening to this, actually reframe imposter syndrome, right? Don't think that if you are feeling the imposter syndrome is because you're doing something wrong or because you don't know how to do it, but it is because you're actually taking a step forward into what you want to achieve. So it's important to like change the mindsets in some of these terms that we hear daily. Do you have any specific ones that you have noticed that you have reframed in your life?
Yeah. Well, yeah. One for me is like, it shows you actually care. Like for people that have imposter syndrome, it just means you care. And that's a good sign. And just keep caring, keep actually being invested, not only in yourself, but your clients and your students, whoever you're helping get a result for. So that's really helped me. But when I notice that I feel like an imposter, it means I'm just comparing my journey to somebody else's. And Absolutely. It just means that I actually care for my clients and want to get them the result.
Yeah. How do you deal with comparison? Because I feel that's a big one for a lot of people. I mean, again, social media world is so freaking easy to, start scrolling and see somebody that is your age, but with a bigger bank account or a better lifestyle, right? And I'm making air quotes here.
Or a better beard, like.
I see a beard, I'm like, dude, how? And then I go and immediately trim mine. But how do you deal with those comparisons?
Yeah, I mean, I do this all the time. Like I look at people that started when I started. I look at people that were actually way ahead of me, like they've been, a decade into this thing, and I'm only 2 years full time into it. Yeah. Even like on Clubhouse, I first got on there, like I was loving it. And then I was just like going down this rabbit hole of looking at their bios and end up on their Instagram and like looking at their content. And I'm like, wow, their content is so good. How do they put all this out? Like I can't even just keep a consistent Facebook content going, and it's just realizing that like, you're on your own chapter and they might be a little bit ahead, but you can't compare. And just stay in your own lane, put the blinders on. Just stay focused on the content creation rather than consumption. Like I am a student for life. I love to learn. I've spent over $80,000 this year on programs and courses and books. But I realized like just stay in your lane. Like focus on the education, focus on the implementation and the creation, and the rest will follow.
Yeah,
that is so important. So, sorry, I know you want to say something here.
I want to be on fire.
Give me one second. Give me a second. Let's go. No, I love this because I think that is one of the fastest ways to get discouraged and stop what you're doing, 100%. Right? Especially, we live in the content world. As soon as you see somebody that has some similarities to you and they are doing awesome content, right? High produce, that you're like, man, I want to do that. They might be in their day 10,000 doing that thing and you're on day 5. And if you try to do it that way, right? They have systems on the back to do it. Yeah. Have all these processes that they're probably going to break you if you try to do it that way. And then you compare results, you don't see the same results, and you're like, this doesn't work for me. I'm not cut out for that. And that is such the fastest way for disappointment, in my opinion. And I love what you said, that is put your blinders on, right? Stop consuming and start creating. I do, right? And I'm in 2 weeks ago, before 2020 ended, I started this challenge. I called it the 1-to-1. It was a personal challenge of creating at the same rate that I was consuming, which is practically impossible.
It's really challenging.
It's very, very difficult.
Yes.
But one of the things that I've learned is I can still consume more, but I need to be a little more intentional of what I'm consuming, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to find myself scrolling on Instagram or Instagram Reels for hours, right? If I'm not going to apply that knowledge then to anything else. But instead is what is a current project that I'm working on? Okay, let me consume some information in that, or something that is going to teach me something that then I can tie it up to these new ideas that I'm building. So always with consuming with the creator mindset, I guess, if you want to
Yeah.
put it that way. It's so
Yeah.
important, because that's when you start sharing your work, right? Speaking your truth, and that's when people start actually connecting with you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was you interacting with your group and with your students from day one, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, public content. It could be within your community, and I think that's so powerful too, right? Because you are right there in the trenches with them, helping them out. And again, am I wrong? And if I am, correct me.
No, you're
Show me
like you're not only 100% right. You're actually like in my head right now, because I'm just thinking right now, like, how did I get started? My Facebook group, man. I remember looking at my group and I'm like, I'm about to start this Facebook group teaching people how to make money with ClickFunnels, because I saw there's such a huge gap there. 100,000 users, and not all of them were even paying for their ClickFunnels account profitably wise. So I identified there's 5 ways that I've seen people making money: selling funnels, starting an agency, selling e-commerce, selling a course, or just doing the affiliate thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was going to teach, but when people joined my Facebook group, and the way I hit Dream Car in 100 days without paid ads was the 3 questions I asked. Number 1 is, do you have a ClickFunnels account? Everyone who says no to that question, I reach out to, and we have a conversation about how I could help them with that when they buy ClickFunnels through my affiliate link. The second question, this is important, was I didn't know what to teach these guys, but I asked them. Second question when they join my group is, what do you want to learn? They're telling me now I have 7,000 answers to that question of what they want to learn. And then lastly, hey, what's your email address so I could send you my free course? And that's how I built my email list of over 12,000 people now in the short time I've had that group. And really, like, I wasn't an expert in anything in my mind. But what I did is I went through the One Funnel Away challenge. I consumed, and then I took that information. I went through it like 3 or 4 times. And I realized people don't have 2 hours a day to listen to trainings and then implement this. So my bonus to them was, hey, I'm going to summarize these trainings every day in 15 minutes. I'm going to give you my slides and let you go and teach the same thing. Because when you teach, you learn and you implement. So really that was the birth of my content creation strategy, was just consuming and trying to put it in the easiest to implement possible way for others to follow suit.
Ah, dude, that's
Wow.
that's so good. That's so good. And for those listening, like you have literally your content strategy for the rest of your life there, because you're helping people, right? You're adding so much value, you're documenting, you're right there with them. And I feel like for us, when we started the publishing, right, it came after a place of fear, need, gut punch from a bunch of business owners that told us, like, where's your content, right? Because we were implementing them on the business side, but then they would look at our stuff and they're like, where's your stuff? Today I would have answered that question very differently. I would have been like, Olympic athletes, right? They have coaches. The coaches, maybe they're not champions, but here we are, right? That's the change of mindset. Fonzie's looking at me like I'm crazy. But after that, in that moment, it felt like we needed to start creating something, right? And for us, it was so challenging to keep consistent, because there was so much noise, like similar to what Clubhouse did to me last week. And I'll share a little bit of that in just a second. By the way, huge shout out to the audience here on Clubhouse that's sticking with us. Amazing. Thank you so much for listening. Now, by the way, we might be opening Q&A after the show, so if you guys want to stay in about 10 minutes or so. But what happened was we had to figure out a way for us to stay consistent. You figured out your way. And I feel like that's where a lot of people miss the boat, try to mimic and copy like these $30,000 a month, which happened to us in the first 3 years. For us, that was going live for 45 days straight and documenting what was happening with the agency, right? We had to accept the place that we were in, right? We're like, hey, here's where we at. This is what we're doing. Let's be genuine, right? And here's my lesson. If you want to learn a little bit more, if you think that we can help you with our solution, here's how you reach out to us. And immediately after 15 days, it was incredible. We got an amazing response and we got business that basically kickstarted everything. So it's like, how do you find that one thing, right? You listen to your people. And then I think it's very similar. It's like now we're trying to figure out what's going to be our minimum viable content in Clubhouse, right? Right now, this is literally a live experiment. We're broadcasting the live show right here with you. So Doug, I thank you for taking, the lead here and be like, awesome, let's do it together, right? And let's see if it works out and try things out. And when you change that perspective on, hey, maybe I'm trying it out for a week. Let's see what happens. A lot of good things and awesome things can happen. So thank you for bringing that point up, and thank you for letting me positive rant here for a second.
Yeah.
100%.
Doug, I was actually gonna ask you about how did you grow that Facebook group. I think it is important,
Yeah.
especially right now. I think a lot of people want to build their tribe, have their groups, and they're just literally groups everywhere, right? So people,
Mhm.
why would someone want to be a part of your group when there are 20 other groups that they could be a part of, right? I think that we talk about that differentiator factor. And the other idea that I love is you talked about 2 hours a day of OFA and you decided to simplify them, right? And there's
Yeah.
something that I love about ideas, which is they actually gain power when you simplify them in the right way. There's a lot of things that when you start saying them over and over again, or products, right? Like you try to repurpose a product, like it loses value, right? Like if you take a car out of the dealership, it starts losing value immediately. But these ideas, if you start saying them again, right, and testing them again, I feel like they gain more value. And now you're not only saying what you learn on OFA, but you're also probably putting your own opinion on top of it, what you learn, your own personal takeaways, you're building on top of it, and that is giving extra value to the audience. So to kind of like turn that back into the group, right? You were driving people there and traffic, but how did you get those 7,000 people inside of there?
Yeah, and your brother kind of already mentioned the word that jumped out to me there was being genuine. I think people that fake it till they make it, it's not the way anymore. A lot of people are seeing right through it, and the way is really just through being authentically you. And like I remember like trying to watch Steven Larson during OFA, and I tried to go and like do what he does, and I just look like a fool. Like no, like just be yourself, and people are gonna come out of the woodworks and find you because they resonate with that, and they can see right through it if you're trying to fake it till you make it. So one of the first things I did in my Facebook group was like literally pulled up my bank account and said, "Hey guys, I'm 2 months out of my full-time job. I quit 2 months ago. I might have to go back. I'm negative in the bank." I showed them the negative bank account. And then I said, I'm going to hit Dream Car in the next 4 months. I did it in like 2, and I was like pumped, but I was like, just call my shot. I'm like, I'm going to do this. You guys are going to watch me make 6 figures, and here's how I'm going to do it. And I just went out there and stayed consistent. And I think, where most Facebook groups that I was in, I'm just watching, there was not a lot of consistency. And I think a lot of people fail online because no one is willing to be consistent for more than 3 months at a time with the same offer. Yeah. So I realized even when I started my group, I was working full time. I was trying to do the agency thing. I was trying to sell a course on debt and credit repair. I was trying to do ClickFunnels affiliate. So that's already 4 or 5 things right there. And when I said, you know what, enough's enough, I'm going to focus on one thing, one offer, one platform, and one message. And when I did that, I went from negative in the bank to Dream Car in 2 months, and then 6 figures within 4 months. And it's all just being consistent on, again, one offer, one platform, one message. And don't even look at Instagram or TikTok or, just stay on that one platform. My platform of choice was a Facebook group.
Oh, wow. That's so good.
One offer, one platform, one message. I love the focus right there. So intense. And not only that, the authenticity and the vulnerability to be able to say like, hey guys, I am negative for $100 in my bank account, right? Like how difficult must have that been for you?
And I also want to highlight here, because obviously we are in multiple platforms right now, right? Like we're on Facebook, we're in YouTube, and we're on Clubhouse. So here's the thing. This is like month 10 of the show, right? We did not start here. We focus on one thing, one platform, one interview, one guest, right? Like,
I mean, we're still offering just one offer and one message.
On the selling side, we're still offering one thing, right? As a service, we actually had a conversation earlier today. It's like, okay, now we're getting some demand for other stuff, other questions are coming in. So we're trying to figure out what's the solution for that. But we were never able to scale as fast as we did. And, now we have team members, right? That we never ever thought possible before. And it was because we focused on one thing. So everything has its journey, right? Like we started, for us, was Facebook Lives for 45 days. We failed. Well, we didn't fail. We stopped at 15 because we got some results, and we did it again. Same thing happened, right? Because the focus was there, just like you did. So I want to encourage everybody out there that's listening, that's watching, find your one thing, right? Execute relentlessly there. And then as soon as the market starts telling you what to do next, you can ask them, right? And for us, the reason we are in so many platforms is because we have the approach of, what if we do this with content, right? Do we have the capacity? We have the resources to do it. But it took us the focus part that you said to get there, right? It wasn't from the start. We tried the whole thing from the very beginning, and it didn't work out for like 4 years, right? So
Yeah.
thank you for that point home.
Yeah. Well, I just want to throw it back at you real quick too, because I've seen your process. I think the first time we met, we jumped on Zoom and you were just showing me like your systems and how you do this. And I was blown away, like how you could take the content and just distribute it to these small clips and put it on multiple platforms. And it's because you have the systems and the people to help you. And I think when, my biggest thing was saying, like, try not to do it on your own. When you're ready to take it to the next level, it only takes potentially one assistant and a system to really take your piece of content. For me, it was an unsearchable piece of content in a Facebook group. So now I'm like, wow, I've been missing out on searchable content on SEO, YouTube, when really like all I needed was one hire and one system to go out there and take this to the next level. So it's amazing what you guys do. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it really means a lot coming from you, man. And one of the terms that we now love talking about is capacity, right? Because and it goes back to the comparison that we were talking about, that, I want to do things like someone that has been doing it for 10,000 days and I'm on day 5, right? Like we try to operate at their capacity when our capacity is totally different, right? At first, when it was just my brother and I, we could only take on one client and we could barely repurpose our content, right? And now that we kind of like augmented our capacity with our team members, now, like you said, with a process, we can do many other things, which is amazing. So I do want in the audience to think about, what is your capacity at the moment, right? If you're trying to create content, to sell, right? Because that takes different times. The times that you're going to put into creating your content, the time that you have to put into, building these relationships and having these conversations, and be honest with yourself. I have capacity to do X, Y, and Z consistently, and then do those in the long term. And Doug, I want to transition the conversation here a little bit, because I want to give you the stage here and talk a little bit about sales funnel mastery. I personally want to know all about it. And I want the audience to, learn what is it that you are actually offering to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sales Funnel Mastery is a course and a coaching program in my umbrella brand, which is Full-Time Freedom. So Full-Time Freedom was built out of a void of having freedom. For me, it was working 3 jobs in my 20s and not even be able to pay my freaking bills. So I'm really passionate about helping people discover what it is that they want to do by aligning their highest values to just getting started somewhere and letting the next thing present itself. And full-time freedom to me is flipping the script of what we're kind of taught is right, which is working full-time. And in some cases, multiple full-time jobs. And where we only have a few hours a week of true freedom, which that free time is not even really free anyways. But full-time freedom is about reversing that and really having 40 plus hours a week of true free time to do what you love and spend time with family and friends or whatever it looks like for you. And I know it's possible through this amazing thing called the internet marketing world. And it just starts with starting somewhere and finding out what resonates with you and staying focused on that path until the next thing shows up for you. So I have a range of, mostly work with people, aspiring entrepreneurs, starting out, feeling lost, going through all the things I went through, failing forward, trying to do paid ads, trying to do e-commerce, trying to do course creation or agency. And they don't know what's going to work because they haven't given it enough time. So, most of the people come into my Facebook group, they go through my free content. Some people don't resonate and they leave. That's fine. My content is to help repel and attract. And the people that love it, they love it. And then they're all in. They end up in my coaching program. They end up getting results. And now I've got people quitting their jobs months after working with me. And that is the best feeling ever.
I love that part of the message that you said, it attracts and repels as well. And I think great marketing does that, right? If you are trying to please everybody, you are going to please no one. And the best way to build, a tribe, this group that you have, right, is by speaking directly to them. And a lot of people are not going to resonate with it. And you got to be okay with it at the same time.
Dude, thank you so much for taking your story, right, and owning it and be like, hey, here's a solution that worked for me. Here's how I can help you move forward. And I think that takes, a lot of guts to actually do that. We were so scared to share our story the very first time that we did, right? Like today, I did my first Facebook Live in probably like 9 to 10 months since we started the show, and it was freaking scary. And we literally we publish our booty off, like it's insane. And same thing happened, right? And it's like, okay, we need to get back on this, we need to do it again. And we did that challenge internally. We're like, it never stopped. So the fact that you are, so loud about your story, so loud about your solution, and it's incredible that you're helping these people, right? People that put in the work is going to happen, and this works in every single aspect of your life, right? I'm sure they can learn the frameworks and the principles while working with you, and then they can apply it in their daily life, and things are going to happen. So to wrap up the show, we have 2 last questions, our favorite questions,
Cool.
right? Number one is, what will be your number one action point for those people that feel a little bit lost, right? Other than going to your website and going through your course, right? We're going to actually leave all the links right below. You can scroll down and click there. What is your number one action point?
For them to get started on, you mean?
Yeah. To get that momentum going.
Yeah. I think it's really just sitting down, asking yourself some questions, because I think questions really bring that breakthrough. And it's really stuff that can be right in front of your nose. Like, what do you actually love doing? And make a list of those things and find out what you could actually get paid to do by doing the things that you love. And I'll tell you right now, some people say, oh, I can't get paid for this, but this is so far from the truth. And it's starting somewhere. If you don't feel confident enough to make your own product and service, then go align with somebody that has something that you can stand behind, and just promote that thing until you've made enough money to be free, quit your job. And I promise you, by that point, you're absolutely going to have the next thing showing up for you. And you're going to have the skills, the confidence to go out there and build out something of your own. Yeah. And if you never end up doing that, that's fine. Like, look at number one ClickFunnels affiliate. He doesn't even have his own coaching program. He just stands behind ClickFunnels and he makes $1 million a year plus just promoting that offer. So, and that's just one small software in this huge ocean of things. Like, I promise you, there's something out there that you could find and stand behind and go make 6 or even 7 figures and beyond just promoting that. But go ahead. Sorry. But I'm just going to say, like, something will show up. Something's going to come to your mind and say, yes, I could finally do something I could get paid to do that I love doing.
Yeah. I want to try something new here today. We have some people in the audience. If you want to come on the live recording, raise your hand if you have a question for Doug and what you have heard so far, or in the internet marketing, content, affiliate. You can just go. And Doug, for you, I think you're going to be able to listen through your headphones for now. I know that maybe
my phone died. That's why I keep looking down here. I'm trying to get a charge back.
It's all good. But if you are in the audience and you want to ask a live question, just raise your hand. We're gonna bring you up, and just know the question is gonna be live on the show. In the meantime, where would you be if you did not publish, right? And by publish, I mean your Facebook group, that wherever you put your content into. Yeah.
So like, I remember my first live ever, I broke out in hives, like legit, got so uncomfortable that I was that nervous. Yeah. And the reason I did it was because I had to make myself different. Yeah. I'm in all these Facebook groups. A lot of them were doing very similar things to me, like teaching ClickFunnels and things like that. And I'm like, what aren't they doing? Well, a lot of them weren't doing consistent video. Yeah. So I said, you know what, for me to stand out and grow this group, I have to do it. And from there, I went live every day for 30 days, teaching concepts from the One Funnel Away Challenge in my own words and my own experiences. And because of that, that is why my group blew up so quickly, because the people that witnessed those 30 days, when people started to ask for help in those other Facebook groups I was a part of, they would start to tag my name there. So it wasn't even me in those groups being active. Like, I used to have to go out there and create content in those groups and provide value and message and talk. No, it was just people tagging my name. And because of those tags, they were coming to find me. So content creation to me put me on the map, where it actually made people my biggest, my biggest ambassadors, sending me traffic for free.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, that is... That is very revolutionary thinking there. I love that, that you actually carved this place in the marketplace and gain the trust of many, that then they would be tagging you when they would see something come up. I think that is incredible. And not only talks about the value of publishing content, but about, the power of your consistency, actually doing this day in and day out. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Doug, where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they learn more?
Yeah, my main platform is Facebook, specifically my Facebook group called Sales Funnel Mastery: 5 Ways to Monetize ClickFunnels. I'm in there daily. I live in that group, and I talk to everyone who joins that group, and just try to provide value where I can.
Awesome.
So come check that out.
Sounds good. We're going to leave the link right below. If you're listening to the podcast, just scroll down, click there, go hang out and learn something new, implement, right?
I have a selfish question that I'm going to ask, Doug, if you don't mind me asking. And I'm going to put it out there. If you don't want to answer it, it's totally okay. If you cover this inside of your group, it's totally okay. And we can redirect people there. But my question is, how do you drive traffic right now to your Facebook group? What is your number one strategy?
Yeah. So my number one strategy for Facebook group is just like Facebook being an amazing platform, sharing my group for me. The thing about the platform is any platform, their goal is to keep people on the platform. Yep. So they know my group. They know my audience now well enough. They know who hangs out in my group, and they're going to show my group to people that are likely to join it and likely to hang out in that group. So literally right now, I don't even, when I first started, I was out there getting active in other groups and promoting and posting daily and messaging and asking people to join my group. Now I haven't done any of that stuff in 8 months. And I consistently get 5 to 10 people on a slow day. And on a busy day, I get like 30 people join my Facebook group, all from free Facebook traffic. So I am actually having a discovery call later today with someone who actually put me onto your show, Lizzie and Murphy.
Let's go.
Yeah, to help me figure out a strategy to run some paid traffic. Now that I've got my organic message down, it's time to put some fuel on the fire and let this thing grow with some strategy behind it. So I'm excited to take this to the next level and do something I've never done before. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats. By the way, we have Zach. Thank you for joining us up on stage on the show. We're extremely thankful that you're here with us. You were basically on for almost the entire show. So what's your question?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, Zach? And thanks, guys, and thank you for the ad as well. My main thing right now, I've gone through OFA. I did the, buy the extra so that you have the recordings, all that jazz. And so I basically have been watching it constantly because I'm trying to, make ClickFunnels and try to do the whole affiliate route right now. The issue with me is, and I watch Steve like crazy on YouTube University. What I suffer with offers, just trying to create offers, so that I can stand out and from the crowd, and that's my main question. How can you make a decent, I could care less if it's like award winning, but just a decent offer that, will turn heads, even just a few.
Absolutely. And I think you guys should chime into this too, because you guys were through Offer Lab as well. Yes. But for me, when I first did the One Funnel Away challenge, I noticed people were trying to come up with these, we call it the bonus wars. This is back when it first came out, and everyone's trying to make the biggest, best offer ever. But what they realized was the things that they were creating weren't actually helping the end user get through that thing anymore successfully. They're giving out all these softwares and all these other things, and it became more of an overwhelming distraction than it was actually helpful. So when you're creating an offer, I think the most important thing you could do is, what am I selling? What are the problems that are going to arise that I could create some kind of bonus or offer around to help them succeed with this thing? So if you think about the biggest, issues with OFA, it's time and consumption, the time it takes to implement. So the best bonus you could possibly create is helping them with some other offer that you could create to help them get through it more efficiently, more quickly, with less stress, more simplicity. So think about the things that are going to prevent them from buying. Make a list of all those things that hold them back, and then try to create an offer around that will relieve and actually eliminate that objection totally. And that's how you'll find the best possible offers to create.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate it.
Masterclass right there. We're just going to cut this out. for the amazing question, man.
Yes, I agree. That was a great question. And if you don't mind us chiming in here a little bit, Doug, what you said is brilliant. And one of the things that helped us craft our offer was think, what is the follow-up problem? Like every single time we solve one problem, we're going to create another one, right? And then we started asking ourselves, okay, what is that follow-up problem? Do we add it into our service, or we can create a small offer around that and add it as a bonus? And that's it. And the next thing that we did to differentiate ourselves is literally the personal touch that we have in our service, right? That attention that we give the people that we work with. And Doug, that's what you do in your Facebook group, right? Like, people love you because you are there. You just said it. You're there every single day, all day long, taking care of your crew. So, Zachary, that was a great question. Thank you.
No problem, guys. Love the show. Been a good fan. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Like, it means a ton. And with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media at Biz Bros Co. Let's go.
That is right. And if you find this episode insightful, please don't forget to share it and go join Doug's group. Please do. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review. I almost messed up in there. See ya.